Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers and the weekly comic book review. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and this is the show where I read a lot of comic books, and I'll let you know what I thought about them. But first of all, I've got to give a big shout out to David Hatch and Alex Inkster. They've been supporting us on Patreon for a good long while now. Thank y'all so much. We really do appreciate it. You are the best. You can join them over at patreon.com/PCP. And now on with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week, Little Bird number 2. I've already done an advanced review earlier in the week on this video, on this book, so you can check out that video and just see me gush all over this book, but just a little bit more gushing, if you will. Beautiful artwork, a great engaging story, a beautiful world that's been built, great lettering, beautiful, elegant coloring, just makes one exceptional package of a comic book. I loved issue number 1, and I loved issue number 2 probably even more. It explains a lot of stuff, it builds the world out even further, introduces some interesting things happening in that world, in that story. Really cool stuff. Really liked it. If you loved issue number 1, I guarantee you're going to love issue number 2. Definitely be on the lookout for this week. This is shaping up to be one of the absolute best comics of 2019. 2 issues in. We still got 3 to go, but it's elegant. The artwork is detailed and textured. It's amazing. There's tons of pages in here, tons of content, and just a very elegant flow throughout the entire book. The entire creative team just melds together to make this magnificent piece of a comic book. Absolutely right there. Little Bird number 2, pick of the week. Let's jump over to Marvel. We've got War of the Realms number 2 out this week. Fantastic. Loved this issue. Thought it was epic, dire, huge, is exactly what a Marvel event should be. I thought that about issue number 1. Issue 2, even more. You got all the craziness of issue 1 aside. You got more craziness in issue number 2. Beautiful artwork by Dodderman and Wilson. Just fantastic line work. Beautiful, luscious colorings. Coloring that's just jumps straight off the page. Jason Aaron is telling a great, big, epic story involving a lot of Thor type stuff, but this is great for any Marvel fan. In fact, there's very little Thor, if any, in this issue, but lots of his world, of course. The War of the Realms, it's big, it's epic, it's cool. This is the end of the first act. It's just big, it's epic, it's huge. It ends on a great moment, and I'm really excited to see what's going to be happening in the pages of this book. Thor number 12 is out this week. This is an official War of the Realms tie-in written by Jason Aaron, so you definitely want to pay attention to those ones. This was overall a very cool issue, a very look at the past of a certain figure. In fact, I want you to, I just gonna say, if you want to know what's going on with all the Loki stuff from issue 1, you want to read this issue of Thor. This continues on with the fate of Loki, if you will. Thor number 12, though, pretty good. Great artwork by Mike Del Mundo. The style's really starting to merge out of just this hyper-stylized thing and into like a very coherent, flowing comic book. This is really exceptional work from Aaron and Del Mundo on this book. Really did like it. Thor number 12 out this week. Another War of the Realms tie-in, Punisher number 1. It's like, what, a 3-issue series or something like that? One of my favorite things about War of the Realms is that it's going to happen very quickly. It's going to happen like 3 to 4 months, something like that. So I like that. So this is basically a story that's going to follow the Punisher and some of his adventures throughout the War of the Realms story. Punisher blasting away trolls and dark elves and stuff like that. So you get a little bit of Punisher in the War of the Realms book, the main title, and we're going to get a little bit of him in a one-shot coming up. But this one is going to be nothing but Frank just slaughtering trolls and dark elves and angels and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you're a huge Punisher fan, if you're a Punisher completist, I definitely recommend it. If you're a War of the Realms completist, definitely want to pick it up. If you're just interested in some of the better tie-ins, it's pretty decent. It flows really good, but it's not going to change your life, nor is it crucial to the story. And another tie-in, War Scrolls number 1 is out this week. Now this is the start of like a little 3-issue series. It's going to have multiple stories throughout it. The main story is a Daredevil story, and the Daredevil story is picking up on a thread, excuse me, that was started in this week's War of the Realms number 2 with the character of Matt Murdock. Very interesting, very cool. Jason Aaron and Andrea Sorrentino did that one, so this book is worth the price of that. Is pretty much worth the price of admission alone just for that story. It's really, really cool. Then there's a nice little fun Warriors 3 story in there. And then there's a really great Wolverine Punisher story that's written by Ram V, and I believe that's Ram V, of course, from These Savage Shores. I believe this might be his first Marvel work, so you might want to think about that. And then, of course, there's a Howard the Duck little thing at the end by Chip Zdarsky. So if you're a fan of Zdarsky or a fan of his Howard the Duck run, you definitely want to check it out. But all in all, I found this to be rather enjoyable. And that lead story by Sorrentino and Aaron with Daredevil was really top-notch. I really did like it. Thought it was really good. Amazing Spider-Man is here with 19.HU, which means that it's not part of the official main Hunted story, but it's kind of a side in-between story focusing in on a villain. This one's focusing in on the Lizard. It's got artwork by Chris Bachalo, as it should. It's like Bachalo has totally just been like, I'm going to be the Lizard artist. And I'm totally cool with that. I love the artwork in this book, the layouts, the texture of it. It works so phenomenally well. Nick Spencer's been doing a great job with Spider-Man and, of course, this Hunted story. I've been liking these issues that kind of take a step back, focus in on a villain. Nick Spencer's really good at fleshing out, rounding out some of the characters of some of these villains in a very Astro City type way, very Busiek-ian, I guess. Is that a word? We can make it a word. Anyway, this is a really cool, nifty tie-in that's kind of essential to the overall Hunted story. I think these .HUs mostly have been, but this is going to be focused on the Lizard and his desire to get into Central Park after his kidnapped son. Really cool stuff. Speaking of Spider-Man, Spider-Man Life Story number 2 is here. This book is going to be like, what, 5, maybe 6? I don't know exactly how long, but each issue is going to be focused on a different decade, and it's going to tell the life story of Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, in real time. So the second issue is all set in the 70s. So the first one was the 60s. We dealt a lot with Vietnam. And this one we deal a lot with the ramifications of a post-Vietnam America and, of course, the emergence of the disco era. Lots of exciting, familiar Spider-Man threads are merged in there, though with a new twist. Interesting, at this point now, in the 70s, when the clone stuff's happening, for instance, Peter's already in his 30s, right? So that's really cool to see Peter grow up. I'm really excited about this series. The second issue was great. It's got artwork by Mark Bagley, one of my absolute favorite Spider-Man artists of all time. Zdarsky's doing a great job with this. At times it gets a little melodramatic 70s. There's a certain scene with a certain redhead in here that had evocations of a Scarface type scene or something, but it works for the time period and it works for what they're trying to do with this book. And I really thought this was a phenomenal issue of taking something familiar but making it just slightly different and fresh, even though it's set like in the 70s, firmly set in the 70s. I really like this approach to this book, and I really like the book 2 issues in. Daredevil number 4 is here. Speaking of Chip Zdarsky, doing a great job on Daredevil. This is a fantastic issue. So Daredevil's been framed for having murdered somebody, or has he been framed? We're still kind of up in the air about that, or are we? But anyway, in the last issue, he had a confrontation with a detective that's sent after him on this case, and he almost gets arrested, but then, of course, Frank Castle comes and saves him. So this is a great conversation between Frank Castle and Daredevil. Of course, there's a lot of action stuff in it as well. Lots of gritty crime, Marvel noir type stuff. Really loving Zdarsky's run on Daredevil right now, especially with Chichetto on the artwork. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. Sunny Zhao on the coloring. It's just beautiful. It's elegant. It's exactly what we want out of a Daredevil book. And I haven't really been liking Daredevil for the last few years, so this is so refreshing to me. And it's always nice when a new writer comes in on Daredevil to have that statement piece on the relationship between Frank and Matt, and that's what that is. That's really cool stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy number 4 is here. Jeff Shaw, Donny Cates. That's why we care about Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy are just really cool characters. This is a really cool story. Cates is a superstar on the rise right now, doing great work, especially at Marvel. I'm like this tag team, or this ragtag team of misfits for the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's kind of what they've always been. Great Beta Ray Bill moments in here. I really like the gist of this story. Everybody's freaking out because they think Thanos is going to reincarnate in somebody. They all suspect it's going to be Gamora, and so this one lone group of Guardians is trying to protect her. And there's also lots of mystery. What's going on with Rocket Raccoon? What's going on with Peter and Gamora? What's going on with all of this stuff? I really, really like the way this book's going. It's big, it's epic, it's fun, and Jeff Shaw's artwork it feels like he's getting more comfortable with a Marvel Cosmic book, and it really shows forth. In issue number 4, David Curiel on the coloring adds a great texture to the artwork, and I absolutely been loving Guardians of the Galaxy. Uncanny XMen number 16 is here. Matthew Rosenberg's been doing a great job with Uncanny XMen, and this is no exception. Taking back the focus to Cyclops, to Wolverine. Lots of craziness happened in the last last issue? Did Cyclops really just lose an eye? Really liking some of the old school villains. Some more unexpected old school returns happen in this issue, and some big things may be happening in this issue, especially in the pages of issue number 16. That's redundant, I just said that. Anyway, I've been liking what Matthew Rosenberg's been doing with Uncanny X-Men, especially focusing on Logan, Cyclops, and all these other X-Men that are left behind from the Age of X-Men, which I will point out, I didn't read any of the Age of X-Men titles. At first count, it was going to be over 40 comics I was going to read today, so I had to make some tough cuts, but alas, we did, and so now we're moving on to the Magnificent Miss Marvel, issue number 2. Saladin Ahmed, 2 issues in, he understands Kamala Khan, he understands Bruno, he understands Kamala's world, he understands Miss Marvel, her importance to Marvel Comics, to the fans, and of course just to her own story, to her own community, to her own friends and family. Really comes through, really shines through in this issue, really loving it. Think it's great stuff. Minkyu Young, Juan Blasco, Ian Harrington, rounding out that team. Great artwork, really cool coloring, it really fits, it's fresh, it's hip, it's cool, it feels like classic Marvel, but it still feels modern. Kamala Khan is in great hands with Saladin Ahmed. You know who else is in great hands with Ahmed? Miles Morales, Spider-Man. This is a great issue, and I really feel like Ahmed's kind of ironing out some, maybe not like tough spots from his first few issues or whatever, but maybe some growing pains into the character, getting familiar with the character, something like that. Miles Morales issue number 5 is fantastic, taking what's been built up over the last 4 issues and just exploding it out into a great fun story that's also very character driven. And some of my favorite moments throughout all of the Miles comics, especially the Bendis stuff, has been those intimate character moments and those moments of friendships between him and Genki, and you get that a lot in here. Ahmed knows what he's doing, and Garen's artwork is fantastic. Really cool stuff on Miles Morales Spider-Man. Meet the Skrulls number 3 is here. I've been liking this book. Nico Henrichin on the artwork's fantastic. The story by Robbie Thompson is very decent. It's really cool. It's a story about a family of Skrulls who are undercover on Earth trying to stop this Earth agency trying to destroy Skrulls by super detection or something like that, right? But it kind of paints it so that you kind of start feeling for these Skrulls, and maybe they get a little bit of starting to wanting to just enjoy their human life or their family unit or something like that. But I'm really liking it, though I do feel like maybe the gap between issues 2 and 3, was it longer than typical? I know 1 and 2 came out back to back, but I started to feel a little bit lost, started to get a little confused about where we were actually in the story, but that has a lot more to do with me than the actual story. Great artwork and a really cool story that's kind of neat. I really do like it. Major X is back with issue number 2. It's not drawn by Rob Liefeld, but it looks like it was meticulously laid out by Rob Liefeld. It looks like it's totally his blueprint. So if you're a Liefeld fan, get into it. I read Major X number 1. I didn't really like it that much. Wasn't really intrigued by the new character. Didn't like the artwork. I decided I'd check out issue number 2. Still didn't like it. Nothing about this excites me. Nothing is really cool. So if you're a Rob Liefeld fan or just a huge crazy X-Men completist or X-Force person, like an X-Force nut since back in the day, definitely check it out. But other than that, I don't know. It's crazy that the first issue started going up online. I mean, I get it's a first appearance, but it's still Major X. Anyway, West Coast Avengers number 10. This is the final issue of the series, sadly. Kelly Thompson has been doing a great job with this book. He's turned me into a Gwenpool fan. That's actually insane. The little land shark dude, is that Jeff? Jeff the land shark? It's just adorable. It's fantastic. I absolutely love this book, and I'm really sad to see it go. Absolutely. Quentin and Gwenpool together being an item, that's one of my new favorite things. There's been new characters introduced. It was nice to see Kelly Thompson be able to continue on the Kate Bishop story from her Hawkeye solo series with Kate Bishop. So it was nice to see her be able to revisit that once again. I would love to see her revisit this character yet again. These characters in general, I like the ending. It's hopeful. I love the West Coast Avengers, and I'm really sad to see it go, but I'm glad for the 10 issues that we had. Marvel, bring it back. Speaking of 10-issue Avengers series ending, No Road Home is finally ending, and the finale was actually really good. I actually liked it. I thought it was cool. Really cool kind of meta-type stuff, talking about the House of Ideas and all that stuff. Very Morrison-y in a way almost, but I really did like it. I thought it was really cool, and you can definitely feel Mark Waid's hand in that. It really celebrates a lot of Avengers history, Marvel history too, in this finale for No Road Home, and I did like how it left all the characters. So overall, I would think it was an okay event, an okay kind of story, but not something I'll probably go back to, but I'm glad it's over. I am. those weekly series start wearing you down. We got a new Star Wars miniseries, Star Wars TIE Fighter. This is going to focus in on a squadron of TIE fighters. This is set like right post Empire or during Empire, something like that. It's a really cool story actually though, and it really worked. And it's really cool to see a story not from the Rebellion's perspective, but from just like the fighter pilots of the Empire, right? And they're still just normal people, right? And that's pretty cool. I thought they did a great job with that miniseries. Age of Rebellion special. This has a lot of really cool, fun one-shot stories. It's got a really cool Biggs and Porkins story in there that's really cool, but it also has a little bit of nuance and heart in it. It's got a Yoda story in there that's really cool. It's set up right before you meet him in Empire, but exceptionally well done was the Crispin Wingard, Lee Lowridge, and Simon Spurrier IG-88 one. This IG-88 main story was so awesome. So if you are a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of the expanded universe, if you're a fan of the bounty hunters, IG-88, you want to know more about this mysterious character, I highly recommend that you read this because that story was bonkers, really cool. Let's move over to DC. At DC, we've got Justice League number 22, or actually yet another Legion of Doom issue. These are the ones every so often James Tynion comes in and he does a one-shot story kind of set in the ongoing Justice League story, but focusing in on the villain side of things. This one he's joined by Francis Manopool on the artwork, and it's glorious and it's epic and it's majestic and it's beautiful. But what's really exciting about this, aside from the just fantastic artwork, is that this is another very explaining, huge origin big time issue. The name of this issue is called The First Crisis, and it really lets you know a whole lot about the creation of the multiverse, about Perpetua, about the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor and the World Forger and all that stuff, and it all just is so cool and cosmic and awesome, and you can feel that right now that they're building up some crazy big stuff, and they have been. And I've been loving it. I've been eating it up. Justice League is still one of my favorite superhero books on the shelves right now. Issue 22, out this week. I highly recommend that you check it out. Naomi number 4 is out this week. It's already heating up on YouTube, so be careful. Call your shops, reserve it, do whatever you need to do. But Naomi, if you've been in, you've been in. It's been a great book. It's been really fun. This is kind of an origin-y type issue. There's lots of questions get answered, but a lot of new mysteries and questions get posed, right? Really great issue. Jamal Campbell's been doing just stellar work on the artwork on here. It's vibrant, it's high energy, it's dynamic, it's fluid, it's kinetic, it's all those words. It's just amazing. It's so good. Bendis and Walker have been really crafting a great, cool mystery story set so firmly in the DC universe, all while introducing and creating a new character that's very relevant, very fresh, but very classic DC feeling as well. Really like it. Naomi number 4 is a winner. Batman number 69 is here, and this is the official end of the Nightmare story, which in hindsight, it took forever, and it didn't help that it had the Price story right in the middle of it. But overall, now that it's all said and done, and this is another big explainy issue that is very elegant and very eloquent as well, I would say. I loved this issue. I thought it was really, really good. Tom King ends this Nightmare story very strongly. I think it feels longer than it actually is because of that Price story being caught right in the middle of it. I think when we read this through in trade, when on the reread, it's going to flow a lot better, but it all gets wrapped up in a nice tidy bow. There's some things in here that are not necessarily just part of the nightmares, but the nightmares is all explained, it all makes sense, and it's all just typical, perfect Batman goodness, and I'm loving it. And I really think Tom King's doing some solid work on The Dark Knight right now, and issue 69 is just another reason why. And Yannick Paquette on the artwork with some elegant coloring by Fairbarn, I guess, right? Let's see. The credits are at the end. I can't really show you much because I don't want to spoil things. Nathan Fairbarn, beautiful, beautiful coloring, beautiful. Aquaman number 47 is here with the conclusion of Kelly Sue DeConnick's first arc on Aquaman and the introduction of the tattoos onto Aquaman. That's a little silly. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like, people like the Momoa movie. I like it. It's cool. We don't need to give Aquaman tattoos. Whatever. And especially the way it happens is kind of cheesy. But overall, though, this is a really cool, fun, giant, epic ending to this big first story that Kelly Sue DeConnick's been doing. I wasn't quite sold on the whole Aquaman's going to have amnesia thing for a while, but it's actually still a great book with Robson Rocha's artwork has been fantastic. Kelly Sue DeConnick's been doing great work with the character, building a cool mythology, new mythology around the character, if you will. I really like this ending, and it really sets up a lot to come, so I thought it was pretty solid. From Vertigo, we got American Carnage number 6 out this week. This has been a great book by Brian Edward Hill, doing a fantastic job. Leandro Fernandez and Dean White as the art team. Really liking this book. Really liking composition, the coloring, the texture that's provided by the coloring is absolutely fantastic. The dialogue is spot on. The pacing of the story, it's really, really cool. American Carnage just continues to astound. Brian Hill's knocking it out of the park. Let's jump over to Aftershock real quick. An exciting release, Mary Shelley Monster Hunter. This book was awesome. So it's written by Adam Glass and Olivia Cartero Briggs. But what I was really super pumped for was that this has got artwork by Hayden Sherman. And it's got beautiful artwork by Hayden Sherman. And this is a great, fantastic horror comic with striking graphic design, excellent composition, and just stunning color work. Fantastic stuff. Hayden Sherman is the artist on Wasted Space, so you knew I was going to be down on this. The story is also about what if Mary Shelley actually experienced a lot of the stuff that she wrote about in her Frankenstein novel, and she herself was a monster hunter. So it's really cool, historical horror, and, you know, alternate take on things. Really like it, really cool, great, luscious cover. The artwork to me is so stellar, and I really did like the story. I thought it was just great. I loved it so much. I did. I really, really did. From Ahoy Comics, we have Planet of the Nerds, #1 this week. This is a very brisk but yet fun comic book. It's kind of like those old 80s movies because it takes place in the 80s at first, and a bunch of jocks, I guess, are just picking on this nerd, and it kind of picks on that whole jock versus nerd trope from those 80s movies, but then something happens, and then they wind up getting thrown into the future where everybody's like a nerd. Nerds are celebrated, and everybody's like, nerds everywhere. Really fun stuff. I actually thought it was pretty cool. So if you like Ahoy, you like something different, like something quirky, like something fun, check out Planet of the Nerds #1 out this week. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt #4 is here from Dynamite Comics, though, and this has just been one of the absolute funnest, freshest, most innovative comics on shelves today. This book has been amazing. Issue 3 is exceptional. The basic idea is that Peter Cannon Thunderbolt is the character that Ozymandias is based on from The Watchmen, right? And usually in the comic books, they always kind of take him back to its pulpy roots, as far away from the Alan Moore stuff as possible. But in this one, Kieran Gillen, Casper Wingard, and company, they're just doing a phenomenal job of just going straight on into that Watchmen territory and beyond, into full crazy cool meta commentary on the industry. Really fun stuff, really innovative techniques that's being used here. This whole issue is kind of like an early 90s indie comic, and it's really fun. So it's a nice commentary on the state of comics. It's a nice commentary on a whole lot of stuff, but this was a very exceptionally well done issue from the entire creative team. The lettering was just top notch as well. It was beautiful, it was elegant, and it just so masterful. So many techniques coming together to make one cohesive statement on comics. And I really, really liked it. Thunderbolt, #4 out this week. From Oni Press, we have Morning in America #2. This was better than issue #1, and I thought issue #1 was pretty awesome. Magdalene Visaggio is the creator on this one. Really doing great work. Claudia Aguirre's artwork is just perfect. Great, bold, clean, fresh line work with these beautiful colors. Great stuff, great contrast with the colors. I really like it. It's set in the 80s. It's this group of friends, and they're trying to, they think that aliens are abducting people from their town. So it's kind of got like a John Hughes, Goonies kind of feel, in a way. It's like X-Files meets John Hughes, in a way, maybe. But it's really character-driven and dialogue-driven, and the dialogue and the characterizations are perfect, and they're spot on, and they're very, very engaging and hooking, and I really, really liked it. We got another one from Passagio this week, the second issue of Calamity Kate. This one's fun. Both of these books are fantastic. Calamity Kate is a little bit more high-octane. Kate is a recently divorced woman who is running to the west to where her sister and niece live, and she's also this monster hunter who's just trying to be famous, right? And now she's got this other rival monster hunter kind of taking away all of her steam and all of her thunder. So as she's trying to run away from her problems back east, going out west, abusing her relationship with her niece and her sister, and just having this feud with this other monster hunter, she's completely ignoring everything that came before. It's a really cool book, really fun stuff. The artwork by Corin Howe, Valentina Pinto is fantastic, and Zach Sam letters both of these books, and they are fantastic. They're amazing. Definitely want to check them out. And Gideon Falls is back. Gideon Falls is here with issue #12, and it was crazy. It was awesome. It was not what I expected. We kind of turned back time just a little bit, explain a lot but about what's going on in Gideon Falls and the laughing, smiling dude or whatever. But like we're still getting a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. But this book is so effective. It's a great horror comic, and it's starting to go beyond that into some crazy cool sci-fi fantasy territory. Gideon Falls. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, Dave Stewart, three of the absolute best creators in the industry right now, just pumping out one of the best books. Every issue feels like an event. Every issue is just so engaging, so just atmospheric, so moody, so captivating. This book is amazing. Assassination #2 is out this week. It's written by Kyle Starks with artwork by Erica Henderson. So at first, I was like, I thought the first issue was all right. I thought it was a little overly silly, and I didn't really want to get back to it. And then I did notice that it was Kyle Starks who did the recent Mars Attack series that I really liked. It's kind of weird and goofy and funny, but it was also had a lot of heart and a lot of nuance. So I wanted to check out issue #2. Well, it doesn't have a lot of nuance or heart, but this is very direct, fun, crazy, kooky kind of thing where all these the best assassins ever are trying to protect this one dude to find out who's trying to kill him. Lots of different personalities, lots of cool little techniques that are used to get the story across. Really cool artwork, very clean, very simple, animated type style artwork, but it works. It helps accentuate the absurdity of some of the moments in this story, including some of the names of the characters. Real having a lot of fun with Assassination at issue #2. Farmhand is back with issue #7, a fantastic issue that really gets into the history of the Jenkins family? Is that what it is? The history of the family that the book is mostly about, and really starting to explain how the family kind of splintered, right? And really filling out some character work, doing some great job with it too. This book's already going to get you hooked with a really cool, weird concept where this dude is able to grow human body parts from a seed as if they were plants in the ground, right? That concept alone is cool, but then you have to add in the characters, the little nuances, those relationships, that deep drama that really kind of hooks you in, and characters that you care about, characters you live and die with every single page. And that's what's starting to happen very firmly in Farmhand with issue #7. Fantastic job from Rob Guillory, who was one of the co-creators on Chew, if you didn't know. Scotty Young's got Middle West #6 out this week. It's a fantastic, light little fantasy book about a kid running away from his abusive father, but the metaphors and everything there about the big tornado storms and the giant wind demons and stuff like that, it's great. It's a very charming book. It's got great artwork by Jorge Corona and colors by Jean-Francois Beaulieu, I believe. But really cool stuff. Really love the coloring. Great contrast in those colors. They really pop. Really some great dynamic, high energy moments, but a very subtle character-driven story that's very personal feeling. Definitely feels like Young and Company are laying a lot of themselves out on that page. From Valiant Comics, we have Incursion #3. I did an advanced review of this one already. It's written by Alex Packnadell and Andy Diggle with artwork by Doug Braithwaite. It's really cool, big, epic, just tragically dire situation for the Valiant universe. It's very new reader friendly, so you can jump right in with issue #1 and just not know anything about these characters, and it's just a great fun story with very powerful artwork, some great character work that's being done in here. It's only 4 issues. It's a really small investment, and it's very, very economical. It's got to give you bang for your buck, and it does it. And here it gives you a lot of emotional bang for your buck, as well as some crazy cool giant action and some crazy cool wow moments that are really cool. Fantastic stuff from an Incursion. Buffy the Vampire Slayer #4 is here, and this is the one that they've been talking about. This is the one they said, you don't want to miss this issue. And they were right. Really cool. I'm liking this new take on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Dan Mora's artwork's great. His likenesses are pretty much spot on. Jordi Belair is doing a great job. She understands all the voices of the characters. She understands how the characters evolved. In the last issue, I said that it seems like they're trying to too quickly get the characters to the point where they were years into the show, and I do kind of feel like that's still going on, but now in this issue it kind of irons itself out, paces itself out a little bit better, the timeline makes sense, and literally it has a moment in there that, if, as a Buffy fan, you're not going to want to miss. Let's just say that. But another big surprise for Buffy fans is Angel #0. Angel #0 is out. Yeah, that's right. We didn't even know this was coming. Big surprise, right? This is a new series. It's going to be written by Brian Hill with artwork by Gleb Melnikov and Gabriel Casada. Really like the artwork. Really like the book. I don't want to show you too much from it because I don't want to spoil anything. But there's Angel. It's the Angel that we know and love from the TV show. I loved Angel. David Boreanaz's Angel was just so cool to me. He was an inspiration. But I really like Buffy. I really like Angel. I thought this was really cool. It's Angel. He's in LA. Just like with the Buffy, you're able to take some of the things that didn't age well out. You're able to understand a little bit more about what the character's journey is going to be. You're able to set things up just a little bit more properly. And it does kind of connect towards the end with this book right here. So they kind of work hand in hand. And if you read both of these books, must read Buffy before you read Angel. That is a must. But Angel is really cool, and Brian Hill's got a great grasp on the character, and he seems to like to write these kind of loner badasses who have to, like, you know, you have to, like, cast away everything, every hope of happiness they have to save the world, right? And I think he does a great job with it. That's why he should write Blade, I think. Anyway, so that's what I read this week. That's what I thought about it. What are you reading? What you excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. Love talking to you guys about comic books in the comments down below. Man, it's too many C words there. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Please do join us this Sunday night for a live stream, Robbie Rants Live, 7 o'clock Central Time, p.m. That's right, Sunday night. So be there to talk about comic books, movies, pop culture, and more. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot more. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for rocking with us. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups, and keep on reading.